Don't lose yourself to become someone in the eyes of others. There is a strange thing that few people dare to admit: we are willing to exhaust ourselves just to keep a place in the lives of those who are not afraid of losing us. The more you try to be everything to everyone, the less you are to yourself. You smile when you are unhappy. You nod when you are in denial. You appear when you are exhausted, just because you are afraid of disappointing someone. You gradually disappear in the times of letting it go, in the times of it's okay, as long as people are happy. Until one day, you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the person looking back at you. People say that loving yourself is the first step to living happily, but no one teaches you that loving yourself is sometimes very painful. Because to love yourself, you have to learn to say no, to know how to leave those who used to be your whole world, to stop sacrificing the most sacred things in you to get a nod of acceptance. And the cruelest thing? It's not that the world doesn't accept you. It's that you don't accept yourself. There are nights when you lie awake, feeling confused because people don't reply to your messages, don't invite you out, don't mention you anymore. You try harder, be gentler, be less yourself, just to be kept. But each time, a part of you breaks a little bit. And then, you gradually lose the ability to distinguish which is the real version, which is the mask you're wearing. Stop. Ask yourself a simple but profound question: who am I living for? If you have to become someone else to be loved, then that love is not for you, it's for an illusion. If you have to trade your self-respect to be kept, then that relationship is not worth continuing. You have the right to be imperfect, to refuse, to withdraw. You have the right to choose peace over the satisfaction of others. And most importantly, you have the right to love yourself, even if the world doesn't. There may be days when you feel lonely when you are true to yourself. But it is a loneliness in freedom, in light, not the suffocation of a fake role. Don't let people who don't see your value be you. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You just have to be only to yourself. Step out of the race to please everyone. Stand back, hold your head high, and say to yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. And I don't need to disappear to be held by someone. The more you cling to the past, the more your future withers. There is a truth that few people want to hear: the past is not a place for you to live, it is only a place for you to learn. But strangely enough, we keep setting up tents, camping, and imprisoning ourselves in it. You once had someone who loved you, but then they left. You once had a great opportunity, but lost it. You once believed that someone would not betray you, but they still did. So you carry all those scratches, wrap them in your memories, keep them deep in your heart, not letting go, not forgetting. You do not realize that, every day you hold on to the past like a treasure, is every day your future withers like a piece of land that is not watered. You refuse to move on just because I failed in the past. You do not dare to love again because I was betrayed in the past. You are afraid to start, afraid to trust, afraid to give, because an old wound has not healed. But you know what? A wound cannot heal if you keep scratching at it every day. The past is not your fault. The person who hurt you may have forgotten, but you still hold on to the pain like a cloak, wearing it through all 4 seasons, even though it is torn and no longer warm. You make yourself a prisoner of your memories, locking yourself in the door and hiding the key. And then you ask why the future doesn't come? The future cannot enter a house full of dust, filled with sadness and regret. It knocks on the door, but you are too busy rehashing old days, unfinished conversations, if only that drag on like a chain around your neck. People often say, time heals. But time can only do that if you agree to let the past go. You can't drive forward if you keep looking in the rearview mirror. You won't see the light if you keep staring into a room with the lights off. And you will never live fully if you spend today regretting yesterday. I'm not telling you to forget everything. I just want you to understand, suffering has an expiration date. Don't prolong the tragedy. Don't reminisce as if it's the only way to survive. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is when you are strong enough to say, I deserve a new beginning. Tomorrow is still waiting for you, more beautiful than yesterday, if you are brave enough to look towards it. And who knows, the thing you regret is the thing that has been holding you back from moving forward to a more brilliant life. People may not see your worth. but never let that person be you. There are millions of people in this world who will judge you by a glance, a small mistake, or even just because you are not like them. And then, they judge. They belittle. They ignore your efforts as if they never existed. But the scariest thing is not those people. It is you, when you start to believe them. When you start to doubt yourself, thinking you are not good enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. When you stand in front of the mirror and see only flaws. When you hear a cold voice in your head, you are not enough, stop trying. That is when the real enemy wins. Not the outsider. It is you, the one who has given up on yourself. You used to dream. Used to be excited. Used to dare to think you could change the world. But after so many rejections, being ignored, being hurt, you withdraw. You think, I must not be worthy. And from there, you live a life smaller than you are capable of living. Have you ever realized, you are the only one who has to live your whole life with yourself? So why do you treat yourself as if you are the last thing on the list of concerns? You spend your whole life trying to please others, but forget to ask yourself, am I happy? You smile to hide your tears, but you dare not hug yourself and say, it's okay, I'm fine. You forgive others, but punish yourself for past mistakes. Why is that? Why is it so easy for you to see the value in others, but so cruel to say a kind word to yourself? People may not see the light inside you, but that doesn't mean you don't shine. They may not see you, but you don't need their past to get into your own life. You are not someone else's rejection. You are not the rejection, or the cold stare. You are everything you've overcome, the strength behind every wound, the light that never goes out after every fall. And you have a choice, you can be the one who always doubts yourself. Or you can be the first to stand up and say, I believe in myself. Because when you believe, the world is forced to pay attention. Because when you see your worth, no one has the right to deny it. And if someone doesn't see you, remember, they're just looking in the wrong direction. Don't let them pull you away from the path you deserve to be on. If you don't stop distracting yourself, they will stop you from your dreams. They're not loud. They don't hit you like a scourge. They creep into your life quietly, like the notification on your phone, the habit of scrolling through social media every morning, the meaningless conversations just to kill time. You think they're harmless. But every second you give to them, your little dreams die. Distractions don't come from storms. They come from thousands of little winds, gentle ones, but they blow every day. They come when you say, I'll just scroll for a few minutes and then move on. They come when you choose to procrastinate instead of start. And then, the most important things slowly fall to the bottom of the list, quietly replaced by urgent but meaningless things. You used to have a clear goal. A big dream. A specific plan. But now, you find yourself tired when you open your eyes. Your mind is pulled in 100 directions. Your body is busy, but your soul is empty. It's not that you're incapable. It's that you're not good enough. It's that you're distracted. You let the temporary overwhelm the permanent. You let now defeat the bright future. You live as if you could start over at any moment, while time waits for no one. In fact, you're not lacking motivation. You just lack the quiet time to reflect on what's truly important. Ask yourself. How many times have you woken up and immediately checked your phone instead of checking your dreams? How many hours have you spent pleasing others, while ignoring your own aspirations? How many times have you wasted your time just because everyone else is doing it, forgetting that you're not everyone else? Remember, distractions always seem urgent. Greatness is quiet and requires persistence. Don't wake up in a future where you say, I wish I had started sooner. Don't let one day you look back and realize, the only thing that stopped you from going far was that you let too many little things get in between you and your dream? Life doesn't ask you if you had a dream. Life asks, do you have the courage to say no to distractions, to say yes to your life? If you don't control what you focus on, it will control where you go. And if you don't discipline yourself, life will discipline you with results you don't want. Choose again today. Eliminate the distractions. focus like there's no second chance. Because in fact, you may not actually be there. A man who is afraid of rejection has already rejected himself. Rejection is painful. No one likes to hear no. No one likes to be turned away, ignored, underestimated. But the cruelest thing doesn't come from others. It comes from you, before you can even open your mouth. You think she's beautiful. You want to start a conversation. But you stay silent, thinking, she probably doesn't like me. You have a great idea. You want to present it to everyone. But you hold back, because you're afraid, what if they say no? You have a dream, an ambition, something that makes your heart beat faster, but you hold it back. Because you're afraid of failure. Afraid of being laughed at. Afraid of being dismissed as nothing. And then you return to your safe place, let's call it stable. But inside you are empty. You're living in a cage. Not someone else's cage, but the cage you lock yourself in. And the key is called fear of rejection. Do you know what the scariest thing is? It's not the rejection. It's the way you take yourself out of the game before it even starts. Every time you don't dare to step forward because you're afraid of failure, you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough. Every time you stay silent when your heart wants to scream, you're whispering to yourself, I'm not worthy. Every time you give up because you think someone else will reject you, you're betraying yourself. The truth is, people will reject you. Some will not believe in you. Some will laugh at you, ignore you, even insult you. But that doesn't matter. What matters is whether you dare to stand up afterwards. If you know that rejection is not the end, but the beginning of a more resilient journey, you will no longer be afraid of no. You will understand that being rejected does not define you. Being laughed at does not make you less valuable. And failure does not kill dreams, giving up does. The world is full of talented people. But it lacks people who are brave enough to be rejected and still continue. Who do you want to be? Someone who is loved for not making noise, or someone who is remembered for daring to step up when the whole room turns its back? A man who is not afraid of rejection is someone who has chosen to believe in himself rather than the judgment of others. He knows that every no is a step closer to yes. Every closed door is an opportunity to find the door that belongs to him. And perhaps, what makes him different is not success. But it is the courage to accept every failure, without turning your back on yourself. Life is like an elevator. On the way up, you have to stop sometimes, to let some people get off. When you start your journey up, in your career, in your love life, in becoming a better version of yourself, you want to take everyone with you. Your family. Your friends. Your lover. The people who have stood by you through the hard times. You think, if I go up, they will go up with me. That's what you believe. That's what you want. But then one day, you suddenly realize, not everyone wants to go up. Not everyone is willing to endure the pressure. Not everyone is brave enough to change, to learn, to step out of their comfort zone. They complain. They procrastinate. They drag you down with words like, "You've changed. Do you think you're better than everyone else now?" That's not realistic. Just keep living your life as usual. And you start to feel heavy. Not because you're going in the wrong direction, but because you're trying to drag people who don't want to climb higher. The elevator of life can't continue to the next floor if the load is too heavy. There are people, no matter how much you love them, who are no longer suitable for the journey you're on. Not because they're bad, but because they're no longer on the same frequency. That's when you have to choose. Hold them back, and stand still on the mezzanine forever. Or accept to stop for a moment, open the door, let them down, so you can continue to the next floor? Is it difficult? Very difficult. Is it painful? Heartbreakingly painful. But necessary. You can't reach your dreams if you always try to please everyone. Not everyone is willing to go with you to the end of the road. Some people are only written for a part. Some people only stay for a few floors. And you have to learn to let go with gratitude instead of resentment. The higher you go, the emptier the elevator becomes. But don't be afraid. Because on the higher floors, you will meet people who are strong enough to walk with you. People who are also trying, also moving forward, also carrying the same aspirations as you. And when you look back down, you will understand, if you hadn't stopped to let a few people step out, you wouldn't have been able to fly so far. Remember, you didn't abandon them. You just couldn't bury yourself for fear of hurting them. Life doesn't wait for anyone. And if you don't dare to stop even for a moment, you will forever be stuck in the mezzanine of life. The elevator still has many floors above. The question is, do you dare to continue? The moment you stop looking for validation from others, you find true confidence. There is a sad thing that no one teaches us from a young age: we grow up in a world that craves applause. You do something good, you expect others to see it. You change your appearance, you expect others to praise you. You achieve something, you wait for admiring glances. Without applause, you doubt yourself. Without recognition, you feel like you are not good enough. Without compliments, your efforts feel invisible. How many times have you felt like that? But here is the cruel truth: the world does not owe you a round of applause. And if you live only to hear applause from others, you will drown in your own silence. There is a kind of confidence that does not need recognition. It comes from deep down, where you look in the mirror and say, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I don't need anyone standing on the sidelines cheering me on. Sounds easy. It's incredibly hard to do. Because giving up the habit of seeking validation is giving up a mental drug. You will feel lost, confused, empty. You will crave a compliment, a look of encouragement, a sentence, "You're doing great." But then, in that emptiness, something magical happens. You begin to see yourself clearly. Not through the eyes of others, but through your own eyes. You realize, achievements don't need to be bragged about. Happiness doesn't need to be posted on social media. Your worth isn't in the number of likes or the eyes of others. From that moment on, you do it for yourself, not for applause. You learn because you want to understand, not because you are smart. You persevere for the sake of your goal, not because you are afraid of being called a failure. And strangely enough, it is when you no longer need validation that you become the most admirable person. Because you shine from within. You don't need the spotlight. You are the light. People will say, I don't know why you shine so brightly. But you know, it's not magic. It's the result of thousands of days of choosing to believe in yourself, instead of waiting for someone else to give you permission. True confidence doesn't come from someone telling you you're good. It comes from the moment you no longer need them to say anything. And then, standing firm in a world that wants you to doubt yourself. You smile and move on. Because in the end, confidence isn't applause. It's proud silence. Set your goals high, so that even if you fail, you will still stand at the top that others have never dared to dream of. Sounds strange, right? Since childhood, we have been taught, be realistic, be safe, don't dream too far. Don't set your goals too high, or you will be disappointed. Choose the easy path, don't be reckless. Just live a normal life. But, have you ever seen a big dream survive in a mediocre mind? Has a truly successful person ever said, I set a moderate goal to avoid fatigue? No. The world was not built by mediocre people. It was written by people who dared to set goals that made the whole society laugh. And then, they made the whole world silent. Imagine. You aim for the moon. You don't reach it. But you are still floating among the stars, while most people are still struggling, on the ground. See? Failing from a great dream is still more noble than winning in a mediocre life. Because when you aim really high, you are forced to become a different version, stronger, deeper, more courageous. You are no longer the person you were yesterday. You have to learn to endure loneliness. Learn to rise from failure. Learn to hone yourself in sleepless nights. And strange things happen. You begin to discover abilities that you didn't believe you had before. You do more. You endure more. You become the person you once admired. You may not reach the destination, but the journey to that destination has transformed you into a different person. A person who is no longer easily defeated. No longer easily compromised. No longer be swayed by cheap things like empty praise and recognition. Yes, you may fail. But that is failing in the big game. Better than living your whole life in a safe cage, where you never know how far you can fly. You may fall. But falling from a mountaintop is different than never climbing. And then, if you get up, you will climb again. Each time you fail, you will be higher than the last. Until, one day, you don't just see the top. You reach it. And then you will understand why goals should not be easy to achieve. Because they are not just destinations. They are the furnaces of the soul. So the next time someone tells you to be realistic, smile and dream even bigger. Because even if you fail, you will fail in a place where no one else has ever dared to set foot. You only truly change when your mind is strong enough to not succumb to your emotions. Be honest. How many times have you known you needed to change, but you couldn't? You know you need to leave a toxic relationship, but then, text. You know you should start studying seriously, but then, surf the internet for a few more hours. You know you need to get up, walk away, start over, but tears and fear keep you sitting there. Because emotions are stronger than reason. Emotions are selfish. They don't care if you have a future or not. They just want you to be comfortable, safe, and pampered in the moment. And reason is silent. It doesn't scream. It just gently reminds you. Get up, this is not the place for you. But you ignore it. Because emotions are sweet. Reason is bitter. And so you stay. Not changing. Not growing. Not growing up. The world is full of smart people. Full of people who know what they need, what they should do, what they should avoid. But they are still stuck. Not because they don't know, but because they can't overcome themselves. Do you think change is waking up one morning, feeling motivated, and then becoming a new person? No. Change is when you are tired, sad, angry, lonely, disappointed. And you still don't go back to the old person. You still choose to do the right thing even though your emotions are screaming for compromise. Change doesn't come on sunny days. It comes on darkest nights when you are alone with your ego. And if at that moment, you can put your hand on your heart and say, I know I am weak. But I will not compromise. Congratulations. You have begun to change. Reason does not kill emotion. It just knows how to control them, so that you don't let them lead you down the rabbit hole. You will still feel sad, hurt, scared. But you don't act on those feelings anymore. You choose to do the right thing, which is not the easy thing. And the magic is, every time you do that, your mind gets a little stronger. Every time you say no to the sweet invitation of old habits, you are forging a sword in your mind. A sword that will protect you from yourself. You know what? The greatest winner is not the one who defeats the world. It is the one who defeats his own weak emotions. Because change doesn't start from the outside. It starts from a moment inside, when you choose reason over instinct. When you choose to move forward, even when your heart wants to run back. When you choose to be someone else, not because your emotions allow it, but because your mind demands it. You may not see results right away. But every day you master your emotions, you are going further than many people who just live by inspiration. And one day, you will look back and be amazed. I have come this far, only because I did not listen to my emotions. Change is not easy. But it starts with a simple decision. Reason, not emotion, will lead the way. Don't be under the illusion that you can fix a place that is always trying to ruin you. There are environments that don't need knives, don't need poison. They just exist, and are enough to kill your spirit. You enter a company with a passionate heart. You believe that you can contribute, change, contribute. But then every morning is a sigh, every meeting is a time when your dreams are suffocated. There, creativity is suffocated by jealousy. Effort is despised by prejudice. And honesty becomes weakness in the eyes of those who are used to living by lies. You say, I won't be affected. You believe you are strong, rational, and know how to maintain your own identity. But you don't realize the environment is a blunt knife. It doesn't cut you to death immediately, but cuts you gradually, a little bit each day. At first, you just keep quiet to let a few sarcastic words pass. Then you laugh it off when you see something wrong. Then you start saying to yourself, well, let's just live in peace. And so you gradually become less and less you. You can never change a toxic environment if its nature is to swallow up the good. The longer you stay, the thicker your armor becomes, the more you have to protect yourself. Until you have nothing left to protect, just an empty shell. The most dangerous thing is not being hated, being bullied, being isolated. The most dangerous thing is getting used to it. It's when you start thinking, maybe all environments are like this. Everyone is a fake. I just need to endure a little more and I'll get through it. No. Not every place is bad. Not everyone lives like that. You weren't born to endure. You weren't born to adapt to the darkness. You were born to shine, to spread, to grow. And if an environment makes you more and more withdrawn, more and more disoriented, if it takes away your confidence, your optimism, your clarity, then you don't have to try to adapt to it. You need to leave it. No one is strong enough to live in poison forever without being hurt. No one should have to kill themselves every day just because they are afraid of losing a temporary foothold. The environment doesn't just affect you. It shapes you. And if you stay in the wrong place for too long, you will become someone you don't even recognize. You will wake up one day, look in the mirror and ask yourself, why do I feel so alienated from myself? The answer is not in you. It's in where you live, work, spend your time. Choose again. Choose an environment where you are respected, where you grow. Where you don't have to shrink to survive. Because you were not born to endure. You were born to thrive. We often think that we are strong enough to change our environment. But the truth is, a toxic environment doesn't need much, it just needs to exist long enough to erode our will, distort our perception, and kill our innocence. The lesson here is not to try to endure, but to have the courage to choose to leave when you realize that place is making you lose your true value. No one is born to just exist, we are born to grow, to live true to our kind, strong, and bright nature. If an environment makes you gradually doubt yourself, makes you silent about wrongdoings, makes you lose your initial enthusiasm, that is not the place for you. Sometimes, the right choice is not to fight to the end, but to let go to save yourself. Because you deserve to live in a place that makes you better, not worse.